Say hi. Hiccups. What's up, everybody? In this video, we are basically going to just be doing the catch can and doing my fuel pressure regulator. I had planned on doing the fuel pump and fuel pump rewire as well, but just kind of ran out of time. Been doing the family thing. Also, my Haltech has been acting up and I can't start the car anymore. So I have the stock ECU hooked up. It starts with the stock ECU, but obviously it doesn't run well because there's no airflow meters or narrowband O2s. So let's roll the intro. Alright, so basically my camera wasn't recording the whole time. I took an extension here and I used my rubber mallet and banged it to loosen this up. It was a little extra tight because I had powder coat. So anyway, get it loose, and then I'm using, you can have like two of these or a big screwdriver or whatever, and I'm basically just pulling kind of at an upward angle as I'm going back and forth to try and get this thing out of here. And eventually it will pop out. This way you don't have to take your valve covers off. Go. So I have this fitting here from Speedflow. It's a -10 AN fitting. That's the part number. I had to get it from Australia, but it's the right diameter here to press down into the valve covers. So basically just pushes right down into it, and what I did was I took a rag and a rubber mallet and just seated it in there. Alright. Do that for both sides. And then I've got my 90° -10 AN fitting here. That will come off like that, and the two lines will come over and into the catch can that we have to make a bracket for. Alright guys, well, kind of got on a roll and forgot to record, so this is the finished product, at least for the time being. So I mounted the catch can there with a little bracket that I made. Let's see if I can get the light. There you go. So just a bracket there, and then the 45° fittings that come off and then come over to the 90° fittings with the Speedflow adapters on there. So that's what I decided to go with, instead of going underneath the intake manifold, or not manifold, intake pipe, because I know it's pressurized, but if it goes down it would have to come back up to get into the catch can. So I was just like, why don't we just come down, let gravity do its job. So I decided to go with this. I think it looks pretty good. Also put my turbo blanket on there. It's also titanium to match the exhaust wrap there. Took my protective painter's tape off. left some residue on there. I need to get that cleaned off, but for now it looks like it's pretty buttoned up. I actually had to undo the adapter fitting there because that had a little bit of oil coming out, and I put some Teflon tape on there. I'm pretty sure they tell you not to because, I mean, piece could break off and get down into the turbo, but I made sure not to put it anywhere near the tip of the fitting, and I think it's good now. I ran it for a while, idling and revving, trying to get some like fuel trims in place. So that's not leaking anymore. Got my catch can in place. Somehow I misplaced a little 4-inch clamp here. Back here, I'm missing it, but my garage is a total mess. When I get into these projects, I happen to lose a lot of stuff, and then I find it when I clean everything up. But anyway, I made another bracket for the swirl pot because the metal stuff that it came with was kind of flimsy. This stuff right here, I mean, I can bend it with one hand here, so yeah. Use some thicker stuff that I made the rest of my brackets with, you know, like this bracket and that bracket and these brackets. But yeah, that's the catch can done, and I guess what's next is I need to do my fuel pump installation and the fuel pressure regulator. I basically have a little adapter plate that's going to go on to where this stock fuel pressure regulator is. It's a plate, and then I have a fitting that comes off, and it's a 90-degree angle. And I'll probably mount the fuel pressure regulator over here somewhere and run a line from there to the fuel pressure regulator, and then from the fuel pressure regulator down to this stock return location right here. So should be good there. I'm going to be doing a fuel pump rewire as well, so that it gets a little bit more voltage or constant voltage from the battery using a relay and stuff like that. And then, I don't know if I've actually shown this on camera or not, but this little box right here, AM Water-Methanol Injection Kit. Gonna be doing that just because there's no E85 near me that's convenient. It's like 45 minutes away, so I'd spend half a tank getting there anyway. So I decided to go with methanol injection. I'll be using a 50-50, or actually a 49-51 blend of, right there, Snow Performance Boost Juice, I guess it's called. Let me see. There you go. But yeah, that's what I'm going to use. I've heard good things about it. I had alcohol injection on my Cobra before the Skyline, and it worked pretty good. All I did was spray 50% water and 50% denatured alcohol. I didn't use methanol. I was basically using it just for air temperature lowering, and it worked pretty good. It was on a Hobbs switch, so at around 8 pounds of boost it kicked in, and then as soon as you let off, you know, anything under that, it wouldn't spray. The AEM kit's a little more advanced, has a controller where you can set like the minimum and maximum boost, or not boost, but like the pump setting, so you can have it kick on at, you know, whatever, 5 pounds of boost or whatever, and then then the second setting is another poundage of boost, and by that setting the controller will progressively spray more and more methanol, you know. So basically, I'm not sure if I'm explaining it good or not, but you start low, it sprays a little bit. Once you get to your max boost that you have set, then it's spraying full power or whatever. So anyway, that's that. Alright, so in order to do the fuel pressure regulator, I have to take the stock one off and put a fitting on here, and then it will have a line that comes off of the fitting and go over to the fuel pressure regulator. It's probably going to go like right here. Go in, and then it'll regulate the fuel pressure, and then it'll come out, and then I have to bring it back over here to get returned back into the stock line. Alright, so this is the fuel pressure regulator. It's a Turbo Smart AFPR 1200 with -6 AN fittings. So this is it. Basically has two possible inputs. We're only going to be using one. So an input, block off, and then return. And this little port is where we're going to put the fuel pressure gauge. Here's a fuel pressure gauge. It's a liquid filled 0 to 100 psi. That's the gauge we'll be using. Fuel pump. It's a 50-1000. It's a 320 in-tank AM pump. So yeah, nothing super special about it, but it'll work, and it's a lot better than the one we got. This is the wiring for the fuel pump rewire. Got your relay, pigtail, your relay, power wire, ground wire. We got our fuel hose. It's can't remember what the rating on it is or whatever, but it's for fuel injection. Fuel injection. Q-09 maybe? I don't know. Anyway, this is the hose that we'll be using, and we have our little clamps here. So these are the fittings for the fuel pressure regulator. You have the block off one, and then -6 AN to I think 5/16 or 8mm fittings. Then we've got the fuel rail adapter fitting with a 90°. I think this is 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch to 8mm barb. So that will go into the fuel rail and then come out into the fuel pressure regulator. And then a little mounting bracket for the fuel pressure regulator. And also, when we get to the fuel pump, a little fuel tank gasket from Nissan. That's the part number there. O-ring F gauge 99, whatever that means. Got the gauge facing pretty much straight up. Guess it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna try and, I guess, put it right here. Guess you can't see that on camera. Right next to the swirl pot. Now the AN fittings do not require Teflon tape, so those will just screw right in until they're tight. So we got the plug, inlet, and outlet. These are O-ring fittings, so yeah, you just twist them in until the O-ring seats. So it'll fit like that, so coming down like this would be good, but I want to tighten this up a little bit more. And use my vise. So that's the stock fuel pressure regulator there, non-adjustable. Basically, the reason I'm replacing it is because I'm putting a bigger fuel pump in and it's probably going to have higher pressure, and I want to make sure that my base pressure is set accurately. So I want it to be at 43.5 to 45 psi. The little difference between 43.5 to 45 makes a difference in tuning. So okay, take the fuel line fitting off there. Put this in a bad place. There we go. old return line. Placement of my line is not going to work. So we'll have it coming out at like a right angle. So I need to have enough room to get the damn screw in there. It's right up against there. Go figure. Alright. Okay, so I made this bracket up here and temporarily had it zip ties until I can get some nuts and bolts from the hardware store. So then this is going to bolt right to where the swirl cam bolts to, and yeah. So we're coming out of the fuel rail, and then it goes to a line that goes underneath, comes over here, and goes into the fuel pressure regulator, gets regulated, and then comes out the return of the fuel pressure regulator there, and it comes over this way and up over this, and then into the stock return. And this is the vacuum line that comes off the balance tube here that the stock fuel pressure regulator went to, and it just has a line that comes down, follows the feed into the fuel pressure regulator line, and then comes up, and it's right here. And you actually, when you've set the base fuel pressure, you want to do it without vacuum. So you want to take this off and plug it, and then set the fuel pressure to what you want, and then plug this back in. The fuel pressure will go down because your engine has vacuum, but to get base fuel pressure, you need to have this set without vacuum. So let's see if we can do that. Alright, we're going to see if we can do this. Need to make sure we have no leaks, and my Haltech is acting up and I can't even start the car anymore, so I'm going to have to send that into Haltech and have them check it out. So I have the stock computer hooked up. The car will run for a little bit, but it'll run really rich. But I'm hoping that I can at least get an estimate, or not an estimate, but like a real quick base reading of what the fuel pressure is to see, you know, if I'm going to have to adjust it up here or not. Basically, you loosen this nut, and then you have a Allen wrench, Allen key, whatever. And you either go clockwise or counterclockwise. So, increase fuel pressure, decrease fuel pressure. So, let's see what it looks like. First, prime the fuel pump and see if there's any leaks. I set it to 43 and a half, at least as close as I could. And now with the vacuum line on, it's reading about 38 or so. Alright, well, here we have it. So now all we have to do is tighten down this lock screw there, and we have our base fuel pressure set. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching. It's another episode, and yeah. It's another episode done. Next episode, probably do the fuel pump and hopefully get my Haltech back and running and stuff, so then I can actually get this thing tuned up. So as always, thanks for watching. Always, you know, like, comment, subscribe. If you want a t-shirt, links are in the description below, as well as stickers. And say, see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.